Thank you, folks. All right, our next storyteller. When asked, what's something you're happy to be wrong about? They said, happy to be wrong about cold weather. Folks, please give a warm welcome to Elie Benhiyoun, everybody. Keep it going for Elie.
I am in Argentina. I'm on horseback with a dozen of my Hassidic yeshiva boy buddies, and my horse bolts. Now look, I was 18 years old. It was my first time on a horse, and I had no idea what I was doing. I have one foot in a stirrup, one hand on the reins. I'm slipping off this horse. I look down, and I know that if I let go, this horse is going to trample me. So somehow I pull myself back up on the horse, and as soon as I'm secure, I can feel that my body is falling in sync with the rise and fall of the horse's movement. I feel its blood pumping under me. I hear its hooves pounding the earth. The wind is rushing past my face. My vision is a blur of trees and branches and dirt. And it's just me and the horse, and we're flying. And it's the most exhilarating feeling I've ever felt. And I know that this feeling is freedom. And it is the thing that I want. My father is a Hassidic rabbi in Chicago. He and my mother lead a congregation there. And this was my 4th year of rabbinical school, of yeshiva. And a part of me really was drawn to this life that was set forth before me, leading prayers, asking the big questions, creating community. But a part of me just wanted to break free. I just wanted to be an anonymous human roaming the earth, quenching my curiosity about everything around me. So I'd find these small ways, these micro rebellions, to peek into this forbidden outside world, this world that I was told would turn me into the worst version of myself if I strayed too far. I'd slip into an internet cafe and listen to Led Zeppelin, or hide a forbidden secular novel in my dorm room, or watch movies like Aaron Brockovich and The Bourne Supremacy on the long international flights from yeshiva to yeshiva. Or even just wear a blue shirt instead of a white shirt on my first day of school and get in trouble for that. But ultimately, I stuck with the program. I stayed in yeshiva for 3 more years, and eventually I was ordained while working as a rabbinical intern for the Jewish community in Singapore. And now it's time to get married. And a beautiful match is suggested for me. She's half Moroccan like myself, which is quite an exotic option in the Hassidic dating pool. And I believe this is destiny. I propose after the 5th date in a 2-week period. We're married 2 months later. And a week after that, I realized this was a huge mistake. The awkward conversation, the lack of connection, talking past each other. But still, we moved to Chicago and we start a congregation there. 2 years and many fertility treatments later, our first child is born. And I hold him in my arms, and I know that he is the most beautiful thing in the world. But still, I'm feeling stuck. My wife is a new mom, and she's holding a full-time job to make up for my meager rabbinical income. I am full steam ahead leading this new congregation, but at night, I'm nursing the wounds of my loneliness, sucking down cigarettes and drinking beer and watching way too many movies. One day, my wife and I were sitting on the edge of our bed, and she suggests that we try for baby number 2. And that's when I know I can't. I cannot bring another child into a marriage that isn't working. And so we start therapy and we separate a year later. And it's during this time that I realize all along I've been thinking that it was freedom that would lead to my self-destruction. And instead, staying was. And so I gathered my closest congregants and I told them, I have to go. I have to start over. They protested. And even my own rabbi and mentor, he reassured me that, you know, many Orthodox rabbis well into their 50s will reveal to you that they've never believed in God all along. And I was like, I will not be like one of those rabbis. So I leave Chicago. I move to Brooklyn, FaceTiming with my son every day and visiting. But the first thing I do is sign up for a creative writing class and an acting class, and I start singing. And my health starts coming back to me. And this part of me that was so curious, that just wanted to explore the world, was finally coming alive. And then COVID happens. And I am isolating in my one-bedroom, windowless basement apartment in Brooklyn. And I lose all of my projects as a newly minted freelance copywriter. And I have no idea how I'm going to pay the rent on April 1st. And even worse, the border to Canada, where my now 6-year-old son lives with his still Hassidic mom, closes. And I have no idea when I'm going to see him next. But I believe this is going to be the giant opportunity. I will get to immerse in my newly formed routine, this new life that I was discovering without any distractions. I'll get to slow saute onions the way my Persian grandmother taught me. I'll be able to write creative essays. I'll play my guitar. And for the first week, it really was kind of a utopia. But then the headaches came, and I started feeling restless. And there's hair and dirt swirling over the linoleum tiles of my apartment. And I know I have something, I'm feeling gross. I have to deep clean. So I clean my apartment, I feel a little better, and then I just think to myself, how about a little bit of grooming? Hasidic men, we're not allowed to shave our beards at all. We're not even allowed to what we called touching our beards. And so even though I was no longer Hasidic, I always kept this kind of like hipstery length beard cropped around my face. And I was dying to see what my face looked like since I'm 14 years old. And so I grab a razor, I go into the bathroom, standing under the shitty yellow lighting, and I start chopping my beard, and there's hair falling into the sink. And when I'm done, I look up in the mirror, and there are these two frightened eyes looking back at me, hollow as ghosts. And I kind of wait for the mirror to come into focus, like the lens of a camera, but nothing happens. And it's my face, but I can't recognize it. And instead of feeling like this is some kind of like new level of freedom, I'm just confused, and all I want to do is rewind. How could there have been just parts of me that I've yet to confront that are just right beneath the surface? And I stumble out of the bathroom, I sink into my brown leather armchair that I ripped off a Brooklyn curbside, and I think to myself, well, at least we're isolating and no one's gonna see my face. But then I realized, no, I'm actually about to FaceTime with my son. I'm waiting for the sun to set. There are 30 minutes left for Shabbat to be over, when he'll get to use his phone, and he's gonna have to see my face. And I'm gonna have to explain to him what I've done. I'm sitting there and I'm imagining him and his mom, they're performing the closing out ceremony of Shabbat, the Havdalah. They're lighting the candle and burning the incense and saying the prayers, drinking the wine, and then the time comes and I call, and the first thing out of his mouth is, "Abba, is that you?" And I know that he's frightened. And I turn off the video. We finish the call on audio, and I cannot believe I've created this one more layer of separation between us. And then I start scrolling on my phone, and I notice that tomorrow at 8 p.m., there's a shelter-in-place mandate that's about to be imposed across New York State. And suddenly, I just feel my chest tightening and my throat constricting, and I'm just like, I have to get out of here. I cannot, I can't get stuck. And so I decide that I'm going to leave Brooklyn. I'm going to get on the road. I have no idea where, but I'm just going to go. And so the next day, I pack up my black Honda Civic hatchback, and as I tear out of Brooklyn, I look in the rearview mirror, and I realize, I'm no longer chasing my freedom. That I already have. The question that I'm asking is my freedom worth it, even at the cost of finding out who I really am? Thank you.